All right. Well, welcome everyone to our presentation on Handshake. This came about because we were getting folks just curious about how to really optimize Handshake, or if they were having problems not getting the jobs they wanted, or getting notifications from employers of jobs that really have absolutely nothing to do with their degree program. Uh, and these things happen. These things, questions and things come up. So that's why we decided to do maybe a little bit of a introduction to help folks be able to optimize their Handshake profile, how it works, things of that sort. So um, I'm assuming that you have a Handshake profile, then maybe you have been using it or have it at least activated and waiting for you to use. So we're going to just cover some of the basics. This is not going to be a very deep dive into Handshake per se, because the best use of it is actually getting in there and just engaging it, getting in and playing around with it. But you want to make sure that there are some specific areas that are optimized, as I would call it, to make sure it works for the best for you, and that you're able to get the most out of it as you're setting up your profile. So as a reminder, if you need to step away, if you are at work, or you need to take a bio break or get a drink or whatever, please feel free to do that. Like I said, we are recording this, and so if there's something that you've missed, or there's something that you want to go back and listen to again for more clarification, you will be receiving a recording after I get the recording from WebEx. We turn it into a YouTube video, and then we send it out to everybody who has registered for the presentation. Also, that center kind of brownish tan area note is how you can contact our office. You can email us any questions later on. If you want to talk with any of our advisors, you can call that number. It will go to a voicemail, and then you will get a call back either that day or the next business day. And then on our career services website, under contact us, will be a way for you to set up an appointment if you want to set up a dedicated appointment to go over any specifics for you in the future. So as I said earlier, our agenda today, we're going to kind of explore the basics of Handshake, how it works, some of the features and benefits, and of course, just touch base on the job search feature and aspect of the application. So what makes Handshake unique? Why is it used by many universities and even employers that register for Handshake? It sounds a little bit like LinkedIn, doesn't it? So LinkedIn and Handshake are kind of, kissing cousins, if you will. There are very similar features. There's very similar use and behavior, but the difference, or one of the difference, is that LinkedIn is open. It's open to anybody who wants to get in there and maybe network or contact other employers or other users, while Handshake is not. At this point, Handshake is closed, if you will. What that means is every individual university that has a Handshake account for the university, only those students and instructors or mentors or professors of that university can, really get in there and kind of work internally, if you will. The most important part of that statement is employers have to intentionally upload their jobs or internships. It doesn't just, Handshake just doesn't go out there to the internet and what they call scraping, that it doesn't scrape the internet for jobs based on the keywords you use. The employers have got to actually go in there and post their jobs, or they remove their jobs. So that's a benefit for students to know that these are actually real jobs that are coming from those employers, and are not just being made up by AI or chat bots or anything like that. So hopefully that's a benefit and has some value for you as you're doing the job search. That's another question that students will come up to say, I don't know, I saw this job or it was pushed out to me, and how do I know it's not a scam? Well, it's not a scam because we have employer relations staff that actually make sure that these are legitimate companies. They're real people, they're real jobs. You may get some that slip by to come to you to say, well, this is not really in my wheelhouse or what I expected. And that happens too. It happens. And you just dismiss it or remove that from your feed. But they're all, you know, vetted and they've got the good house seal of approval, so to speak, on there. We do say that mistakes do happen and people will get some notices that may not really be in line to their interests. If that starts to becoming a problem, contact us. Let us know that you think something weird is happening with your account or with Handshake. And then our people will go in there and they'll check it out and see what's going on. So you've got that assurance as well, that you've got our advisors and our staff here to help you if you have any questions or any clarification, or anything that can help improve your experience with Handshake. If you look at this slide, these numbers will change because the interest is growing. University partners and employer partners are growing. But as far as the Handshake network is concerned, over 13 million active student users are on Handshake. This is with the entire Handshake universe. Over 1,400, I think this has actually grown, 1,400 university partners. These are also colleges. So four-year university or four-year colleges, two-year programs, community colleges are all part of the Handshake network. And then over 850,000 employers. And again, that's growing as well because as employers catch wind more and more on the value of connecting with universities and with students, that number is going to grow as well. And this is what some of the big employers are saying. You know, they're backing the platform of Handshake, and you know these are companies that have used Handshake and posted jobs. So we like to let folks know what are other people saying about the use of Handshake when it's being used for this. You know, Fast Company, Gen Z job seekers are finding careers. You know, they're building networks. They're reaching out and getting responses from employers that's there. So it works as if you work it, as they say. All right. So exploring, you know, Handshake, and that's what it's really all about is if you haven't already, you know, start looking at some of these features. You know, you're logging in, you know, the very first two things I'd say you want to do is you want to have your resume reviewed by us. And if you haven't had your resume reviewed by us, I can show you how to do that. It takes a little more than just sending it to us. We want you to go through some steps in a process to really optimize your understanding of today's resumes. And completing your profile on Handshake, don't just do a few things. You know, don't miss or skip any of the sections on Handshake because every part of it matters. Every part of it has a purpose. And so that's going to help you to search for jobs, search for companies that you can follow. All of that's going to be very helpful for you to do that. And I'm going to show you my Handshake profile as well, so that when we get into this a little bit, we'll have some demonstration to show you how to do some of these things. So obviously, the main purpose of Handshake is how to search for your the jobs that you want and the things that you have of interest. What I'm going to do, and this will also come out when you get this a video part of it, but there's a way for you to go in and be able to read some blogs that the staff of Handshake has written out. And so that could be helpful as well for you to do that. Now I'm going to swing my screen over here, and so you can see my profile. When you sign in, this is the first thing you probably want to see, right? So this is your kind of your splash page or your landing page. When you scroll down, you're going to see, what companies are posting to our accounts that you can see here. You can message employers as well. So you can message employers or folks on LinkedIn, but on LinkedIn, you've got to have the premium. You've got to pay for that premium site for you to message your contacts or networking. But Handshake, if there's a company on here or an employer or other students, you can message them straight from Handshake, and it's not going to cost you a thing. So this is where you'll find all of those things, that information. So if you're interested in, say, you want to see more jobs, so click on see more jobs. This will open it up. You can apply to jobs directly from this space, or you can save it and then go back later if you want to spend more time with that. But this is for this particular job as an example. You obviously scroll down and you can see what are they looking for. So it'll have a description of the job. It'll give information. Here's an information that, if you want to message these individuals or follow the company, all of these commands are at your disposal. It'll tell you how big is the company, where is it located. You can learn more, and it will probably take you straight to the company's website where you'll be able to get more information. So it gives you all of that data. It gives you students who have worked there, contact information, the person that you can reach out to their direct email, and all of this kind of research. And again, you can follow the company, and when you follow the company, they will send back information. If you have, what I mean by that is, if there are new jobs that are listed or there are new updates, if you follow the company, then you'll get a direct notification of those updates. So this is a really great feature of what Handshake has to offer. And then to the left, you'll see that navigation. Of course, if you've worked with Handshake, you'll know where all these things are. You can click back to home, and it will take you back to the home space where we were. You can click on your feed. This is new, so we're learning something a little bit new about the feeds that they have, but it's a communication part of how to communicate and connect to your peers here at WGU. And then, of course, your inbox when you're notified by employers to see what is available. Now, if you want to attend an event like this one or any of the others that we have, you can click on attend the event, and then it will take you to the events page. And then you can find out to say, well, I want to look at what employers are doing specific employer workshops of companies that I might want to go to. And then you can scroll down to search for those. And these are all going to be done by the employer. But if you're interested, I'm going to go back to the all events page and say, well, I want to see more events that the school's doing. I want to get I want to learn more about, a resume before I do the resume review process. I also want to attend a resume review workshop. Then click the Career Center guidance events, and then it will show you all of the different events that we're doing. Here's the one we're in right now, how to optimize your Handshake profile. We have others, drop in using Handshake, drop in for general career questions. The drop-in sessions are like open office hours. So there's no presentation. It's just a chance for you to come in and ask specific questions. Let's see, here's a drop-in topic: resume customization. How do I customize my resume for a specific job description? So all of this is done through Handshake. And the reason I'm showing you this is that I want to really be able to drive home, and I probably have, that Handshake is more than just a job search tool. So it's also a place where we house a lot of our events, a lot of our information, and I want to show you how to find those if you haven't already. You can always go back home, back to the home page, and you can look at more information as you scroll down. This is obviously right on target with what we're doing, how to make your profile stand out. So choose a resume to add to your profile. If you want to do that, here's mine. So I'm going to add that to my profile. You know, the profile is now updated. So that's great. So it'll tell me, what do I need to do that's missing in my profile? Let me update my career interests. Then it should open up right here. What type of jobs am I looking for? If I were a job seeker, you can click, you know, full-time, part-time, internship. We don't have on-campus jobs, so that's not going to work necessarily. How can Handshake help you? Well, I want a job. I want an internship. That's about it for right now. What options are you considering after graduation? Well, obviously I'm going to start working. But if any of these others are of interest, why do they include these? Because the algorithms that are involved behind some of these keywords and sections will help you in the job search, as well as help the recruiters be able to find you. So you want to give them as much information as possible. What job roles are you interested in? Well, you can find it here, or if you find something that's not on here, let's say cybersecurity. You know, so there was a cybersecurity keyword that was there, but it wasn't the right one I wanted. I wanted something different. Well, that's okay. If there are no matches, put that keyword in here, hit enter, and it will on your profile. I'm sorry if they change this, but you should be able to enter other keywords and add it to your profile. And you may need to be in your profile to do that. But let me go ahead and click this as well. Where are you interested in living? Well, right now I'm in Dallas, Texas, so I'm gonna stay there. And this is going to give more information. So you can see the depth of information that's here that you can select. And again, the more you select and the better you have your profile completed, the better it's going to work for you. That was all in updating my profile. Well, I'm going to go and look at my profile, and it has my picture. It's got my summary. All of this helps, again, because there's algorithms that are being used when employers are looking for students or graduates. This is going to be very similar again to LinkedIn and how LinkedIn uses those algorithms as well. But here's something else to consider. You'll look here. I put hashtags. Again, this is I built this as a model for doing presentations like this. But I put hashtag career coach, hashtag career advisor, hashtag resume writer, hashtag military career specialist, which is part of my role here at WGU, working with our veterans. So those hashtags are going to be like the bat signal, right? It's going to be out there to be able to signal recruiters and employers that may be looking for something that is in this area. If I were in a different field, obviously I would be using those keywords. Hashtag cybersecurity specialist, hashtag SOC analyst, hashtag HR manager, you know, whatever it is that pertains to your degree program. And that's the other thing I would let you both know as well, is that you want your summary on your Handshake profile to be directed and written for the jobs that you're seeking. Don't just talk about what you did or what you've accomplished in the past, but also talk about what you're seeking for in the future. That's your 30-second commercial. That's going to give those employers a little bit more of a sneak peek of who you are and what your interests are so that they can make contact with you. Here's a skills section that I was talking about. So if I wanted to edit this, let's see if my theory works. And I want to put in cyber security. So that's already there because I put that in there. Let's say cybersecurity, cybersecurity king. I'm just making stuff up. So that's not going to be in there, right? But if I hit enter, it should be able to put that in and include that and save it. Now, we've had some changes. So keep editing. I'm going to discard and exit. So however you want to best do that will be helpful. But if it's in their database, then it's going to match pretty much what the employers will be looking for as well. Then here's my kind of my resume, if you will, what I've done, where I've worked, my own military background, my educational background, courses that I wanted to highlight, organizations I might belong to, projects. If you're working on a project or even your capstone or you played around with certain projects from other jobs, put it in your Handshake account. That's going to give you, again, it's going to build your profile. It's going to build your digital image a great deal more. You know, if you have any languages that you don't have to be proficient necessarily, but if you have any language you speak or have some idea of, put it in there. It's going to be helpful. But that's a good way to look at your profile, and you can make any kind of edits that's there. Now, going back to the top right, this again, if you have any jobs saved, if you have any, say you want to work with your notification preferences. So obviously you want to click on any of these that you want to get either through email, you want to be notified, or you want it pushed out to your mobile device. Or if you don't, it's like, I'm going to stop getting these emails. I'm going to stop, all these things about events will drive me crazy. Then just take them off. Take that out. Say, I don't want to learn about any of those. And then you have the choice of how you want to be notified. Scheduling, jobs, like a job announcements that come through. We don't have any career fairs necessarily that we're doing from WGU, but there are employers and other agencies that could be doing career fairs. You can, again, select the notification you want to receive just in case something comes up and you want to be involved with that particular career fair. Feeds, groups, documents you want to have updated. When you update or load any new documents, you'll need to select which ones you want to be visible to employers and recruiters. Again, because if they're using almost like an applicant tracking system, they may scan your resume. If that brings interest to them, then they'll reach out to you. So that's kind of what you want to happen. But look at all these features. These are things that you have in your control that you can go through and work on. Then there's a separate settings where you can update your information, update your data. Now, some things are kind of locked by the school. So if it says it's locked by your school, that's where you reach out to us and let us know what you want to see changed. Sometimes it's your graduation date. Sometimes it's your email. It's something else, things of that sort. Because I don't want to be contacted by employers, I set my profile to private, but you always want to have yours set to community. That's where everybody can see it. Or if you just want employers to see it, but nobody else, then you have a selection here where you can choose that. Now on to jobs, obviously, this is where you'll do your job search, and you can select what filters to use. You can hit location if you want to change your location or add a location. How far out are you willing to commute? If you want a remote job, how you want to work on site, you want to work remote, you want hybrid, then you can select those filters as well. This will give you the full-time, like right now, this human resources specialist is available. I'm just hitting these quick links to see it as well. If you want internships, then you can click the internship. And then if I saved any jobs I want to go back to, this is where I'll go to look at my saved jobs. Right now, I didn't put anything in here, but there are 25.5 thousand jobs that are found. So before our presentation, there were 25.4. So you can see where, half a million job or one big, kind of influx of employers were added before we did our presentation. I think it's a big number. So, but this again is where you'll find all of those filters to work with. Here they are again, additional compensation benefits. And I don't know if people clicked on that just to see what are the other filters that are involved here. The WGU collections, employer contacts, industry, major, qualifications. You can add all of these in here to show the results based on those keywords or those key selections. Again, I hit events, and I showed you that before. It's also, you can go here. You can click on employers. You want to do any kind of employer research. So let's see, let's put in, if I want to look for, if I want to use, let's say I'm getting my degree in business management and I want to work for, Tom Thumb is a big grocery store in our area. Let's say I want to work for them. Well, they're here. There are a couple of them. Albertsons is also owned by Tom Thumb, or vice versa. They're the same company. So if I want to know more about them, then I can click on that company. I could look at other students who are, who are going to be there, working there, who have worked there before, contact information. So that's great. I might want to follow them so I can get those notifications if I'm interested in more information about the company. That's just for employer research. And if I wanted to find a job for Tom Thumb, then I'll go back to the job section and I'll put that in as keywords. Then even from your Handshake profile, you can click on Career Center, and this will take you to where you can find more information about what we have going on. Upcoming events. Here are, again, employer collections, great for internships. School of Technology, popular with alumni. Click on that and find out, the companies that are there. Principal staff. These are all of our employer relations folks and also communications representative. You want to know everybody that's in our department, then, that these are going to be the folks who will be able to help you out if you have any questions about the background or the nuts and bolts about Handshake. I often communicate with Kristen. She's great and very responsive. So that's a good person to have in your corner. But anybody on our staff will be here to help and to offer any assistance. If you want to go to resources from Handshake and look at what we have available, that just like I said, here's a resume lab workshop. There's the recording. If you don't want to go to the live function, you can click on that recording and that should be able to open that up. But here are all the different events that we have had going on. So we want this, and I know that Handshake wants this to be kind of the one-stop shop, if you will, for folks to be able to find out more about what's going on with their profile. So just a few other things. Again, some takeaways from today will be why your profile matters. And that's because employers are using it to look for you and they're using your major, your GPA is going to be a 3.0 when you graduate. It's the equivalent of a 3.0. But they're going to use all kinds of different categories to look for top students that might be of interest to them. And it's kind of a background check. They can use it to evaluate, looking at how do you write your summary about yourself? What are you including on your resume? What are you including on your skills section? What other jobs have you had, and how are you writing those job descriptions to really boast, and bolster your own image to that employer? So that's a way for you to stand out. And then again, the algorithms behind the searches need that profile to be as close to 100% as possible. So when you're ready for that job search, for that internship, you want to get out there and start using that search tool. Use the filters. Look at the job descriptions that you've used before and use those keywords that describe the jobs you want, and then save them so that later you can go back. And if it's something you're really interested in, follow the company. And then you'll be able to get those updates when they push anything out on Handshake. You want Handshake to be your friend and you want it to work for you the best way possible. Again, even from the home pages of the jobs you find, you can apply directly from that page. Now, the employer may want you to go to their site, but if they've allowed those applications to be available right there on Handshake, it makes it as easy as possible for you to be able to do that. It's a really great feature. And again, as we've talked before, to receive job alerts, looking at career exploration features as well, and then building your network just like LinkedIn, but now you're building it with your peers here at WGU. If that's something you want to do, you don't have to. It's not going to give you a leg up. It's just going to help you get in contact with other people going through the same thing if you need some assistance. Following your favorite employers, again, you're going to get those updates. If you're looking or interested in remote jobs, then you want to use the keyword remote or work from home or virtual in your job search. That's going to work with any job search mechanism you use. Those keywords are going to, again, flag those algorithms to pull in those specific parts of the job description. But at the end of the day, some of these are going to totally be managed by the employer. So the employer will have, the control on their side as far as how they're going to post the jobs for you to use. But on your side, you have control of your profile and your resume and those features to give you the best sort of digital footprint as possible. And then we have a link there for tips for locating remote jobs in Handshake. When you get this presentation, those links should be live. You should be able to find those and go straight to them. So more on this, using job titles, of course, as your search, filter by location if that's something of interest or status. Searching for internships is also going to be available. And keep in mind that all of the internships that we post, that we accept, are paid internships. They're not volunteer opportunities. There is compensation. It may not be a full job with benefits, but you will have compensation. That's set by the employer. They're the ones who will be, setting what that looks like. We talked about upcoming events. This is just a sample of what that looks like, but I showed you what the events page looks like, where you could find that and scroll through the many different titles that we have going on as well. Messaging, if you were to message an employer, if they allow that, here are some tips on how to do that. There are additional resources in Handshake to help you learn how to message your peers, to go through virtual chats with employers. All of these will be available on your Handshake profile. You just have to find them, work them, get in there, play around with the system. You're not going to break anything. If there is something that you want more clarification, then that's where our handshake personnel can step in and help you out. Is hiring, obviously, they're going to share the companies with you, not only an employer partner, but if they're hiring as well. So we looked at that as, looking at the companies. Here are some of the companies that have passed through our doors, in and out, so to speak. So they're covering companies for technology, multimedia or media companies itself, finance, marketing, education, government, and even depending on your degree and interest, if you wanted to work for the federal government, there's a job there for you. A lot of folks don't know that. They think it's just politics. It's not. It's everything. But here are all a sample of the companies, just a small sample of who's hiring and the companies that come through us posting jobs. So now it's your turn. And I would be glad if you had any specific questions or anything related to your own profile, we can explore that now. If this has helped you, I hope there was something you could take away for this presentation and you've got what you need. We are finishing our presentation. This is our conclusion. So I do thank you for joining and being present with us. If you need to go, you're perfectly free to do that, but you can also post a question in the chat and I'd be glad to do what I can to help you out. Okay, great, Nikki. Yeah, I hope this helped. And you can see there's so much more there, right? There's a lot that's going to be there to help. So when we finish and I'll get everything taken care of on the technology side here, I'll send you out to this recording. And then if you want to go back and look at specific areas, you can certainly do that, and I'd be glad, to do that for you. All right, let's see, Mac. So a very experienced MBA student, got your degree in electrical engineering, excellent, in 91, but will be graduating with your MBA. Should I include my BS degree on? I'd say so. I'd say so. Now, because what here's something else that folks don't necessarily know. It's more important on your resume, but when you're posting an MBA or a master's degree, employers will also kind of be interested in what was your bachelor's degree. I do that when I have live advising sessions with students. They'll say, well, I'm got my MBA. I'm looking for this kind of job, or I'm having. So when we're talking about that, I'll always ask, what's your bachelor's in? Because if it complements your master's, then you're adding even more power behind you, so to speak. If it doesn't, that's not a big deal. That's perfectly fine. Um, but if let's say you found an MBA level job at a technology company or somewhere that would value electrical engineering as part of your background, then that again gives you just a little bit more of a nudge in their direction. That now, if it doesn't, I mean, on your resume you do. It's just kind of the protocol on that. You don't have to mention the year. You could say Bachelor of Science Electrical Engineering, graduated, period. School name, city and state, because then the rest of your profile, you want to emphasize your MBA. You want to emphasize how do you want to use your MBA? What is your next career path now that you're getting your MBA from WGU? So that needs to be the stronger message that's there. You're simply, if you choose to include your electrical engineering is just for information's sake. It's a minor blip on the radar. Um, I hope that helps. Okay. So you've experienced some pushback or negativity, so to speak, with putting your bachelor's degree on? if that's the case, again, that might be a good um, that might be a good case to have your resume reviewed. And then, oh, I told you I was going to give you that process. Hold on. I'm going to give you a link to that. If you haven't done it already, I got to travel my links here to get that. So I'm going to put that in the chat. So that should take you there. Just follow that on the resume side. You'll go to that page called Get the Job, scroll down to resume, start with step 1. Step 2 on that page will be some templates. So that might be useful. The other thing too, Mac, is you might want to, and I'm going to include this link since I'm about to say it. You might consider doing a cover letter, having a cover letter put together. That cover letter can now speak of your career trajectory using your MBA to that specific company, for example. That could be your voice, your mouthpiece to explain, your next career, direction to help offset that that graduating year of 91 and your electrical engineering. So now you're beginning, it's almost like social media on Google. If you have, those search engine optimizations, if you have a lot of negative stuff that's in your feed, for example, the more you put positive information, then the negative stuff gets pushed down farther and farther and farther down, page 2, page 3, page 4 on social media. So it's kind of the same principle. If you have a cover letter that speaks of your MBA direction, your resume looks good, if you have a LinkedIn page and that's looking really good, then the hope is that you won't get those, ageism or any negative experiences because you're flooding, your prospects with more positive feedback, more positive feed that is. I hope that helps. That's sounds like a lot, but we can help with that too. We can cover that again if you want us to talk about it. All right. Okay. Anything else on your mind at this point? All right. Very good. Well, you have a good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining. And again, watch your email for the uh, workshop update and video. If you have any other questions, just let us know. We'll be here to help. I'm going to stop the recording.